Let me ask you something important. What did you do yesterday? No. Really? What did you build yesterday? Because that's where your future is hiding. Not in your dreams, not in your goals, but in your routine. Success is never an accident. It's never luck. It's not even talent. Success is the result of simple disciplines, repeated day after day after day. And failure, that's just a few errors in judgment. Also, repeated daily. See, your life doesn't change when the clock strikes midnight. It changes when your habits do. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment, stop. There's no perfect moment. Only the moment you decide to take control. Your routine is the blueprint. Your habits are the builders. And your results, that's the house you live in. In this video, we're going to break it down, not with theory, but with actionable truths that you can apply starting today. Because the truth is simple, success is not found in the big things you do once in a while. It's found in the small things you do every single day. Now, if that sounds like something you're finally ready to hear, then stay with me, because your future is already living in your schedule. Let's go find it. Your day is your life in miniature. Let's begin with a simple truth, one that most people overlook. Your day is your life in miniature. That's right. The way you live today is the way you're building the rest of your life. Now, I know that sounds simple, but don't confuse simple with insignificant. Because if you want to measure someone's future, just look at how they spend a single day. You see, life doesn't come to us in decades. It doesn't even come in years. It shows up one sunrise at a time. Success doesn't arrive all at once, wrapped in a bow. No, it creeps in quietly, hidden in your morning routine, your thoughts, your choices, your conversations, even in what you do when no one's watching. And here's the powerful part. If you can learn to win the day, you'll win the week. Win the week, you win the month. Stack enough winning days, and you've built a life worth remembering. The small things create the big life. Let me tell you something I learned early. Don't major in minor things, and don't ignore the minor things that matter most. What you choose to do first thing in the morning matters. What you do with your quiet time matters. How you treat your body, your mind, your relationships, all packed into one single day that matters. You might think today is just another day, but today is all you've got. You don't get to live a better life. You only get to live a better day. And if you do that enough times, the days stack up like bricks in a foundation. Suddenly, you've built something strong, something worthy, something called success. The formula of the day. Let's break it down, because I believe in formulas. Simple, repeatable, dependable. A few early victories, a disciplined schedule, time for learning and reflection, a commitment to contribution, and a moment to review before the day ends. That's a powerful day. And powerful days build powerful people. Now you might say, Jim, I've got a lot going on. Sure you do. So does everyone. But here's the difference. Some people let the day manage them. Others manage the day. And that decision makes all the difference. The mirror of your priorities. Want to know what matters to someone? Look at their calendar. Not their words. Not their dreams. Their daily routine. Because your routine tells the truth about what you value. If your health matters, it'll show up in your day. If your growth matters, you'll find books, courses, and learning time in your schedule. If your relationships matter, your time will say so. Don't just say you want success. Schedule it. Make time for it. Fight for it. The clock is the ultimate lie detector. It reveals whether you're serious or just wishing you can't drift into a good life. Let me say it loud and clear. You can't drift into greatness. No one wakes up successful by accident. You must live by design, not by default. And that begins, not next year, not next month, not even tomorrow, but right now. Today is not practice. Today is not a throwaway. Today is the game. How you live this day is how you are shaping your destiny. So start asking yourself, did I use this day wisely? Did I follow my disciplines? Did I become a little better than I was yesterday? Because if the answer is yes, then you're winning. And if the answer is no, then thank God you've got another chance tomorrow. But don't keep wasting chances. Someday the chances run out. The action step. Let me leave you with a challenge. Tonight, before you go to sleep, grab a pen. Write this question at the top of a blank page. If I lived every day like I live today, what kind of future am I building? Now answer it honestly. If the answer excites you, keep going. If it scares you, change something. Because change doesn't begin next year. It begins the next time your alarm clock rings. And here's the great part. You don't need a massive shift. You just need a better day. And then another. And then another. Before long, you've changed your life. One miniature at a time. Because remember, success isn't out there somewhere. Success is already here, hidden inside your daily routine. The morning sets the tone. Let me tell you, if there's one part of your day that deserves your attention, your intention, and your discipline, it's the morning. Because the morning sets the tone for everything else. You either command the day or the day commands you. And that decision is made within the first hour of your day. Now, I've always believed in momentum, and momentum starts the moment your feet hit the floor. Think about it like this. If your day is a symphony, the morning is the tuning of your instrument. If your day is a building, the morning is laying the first brick. If your life is a masterpiece, the morning is the first stroke of the brush every single day. So how you begin matters. Don't start the day until you've finished it. Now that might sound strange, but let me explain. Before you start your day, finish it on paper. Don't just roll into the morning like a tumbleweed, bouncing off whatever shows up. Plan it, design it, decide who you're going to be in advance. When I wake up, I don't ask, what's happening today? I say, here's what I'm going to make happen today. That's the mindset of a builder, not a drifter. And here's a little secret from the successful. They win the day before the day even begins. They don't hope for a good day. They create it. The power of the first hour. Let me give you what I call the golden hour. The first 60 minutes after you wake up. That first hour is not for scrolling. It's not for reacting. It's not for catching up on everyone else's life while neglecting your own. It's for building you. Feed your mind, move your body, set your intentions. That's what the best of the best do. Read a few pages from a good book, write in a journal, go for a walk or a workout. Review your goals, practice gratitude, breathe, reflect, center yourself, and do it on purpose. Don't let the morning happen to you. You happen to the morning. Morning laziness is expensive. Now some people say, I'm just not a morning person. Well, let me tell you, success doesn't care. Discipline is not about being a morning person or a night owl. It's about becoming a responsible person. And let me be honest, hitting snooze is the first lie you tell yourself. You said last night you were going to get up. You set the alarm, and then you break your first promise to yourself before the day even starts. That's not just about sleep. That's about integrity. So don't build your day on excuses. Build it on execution. Morning creates momentum. The beauty of the morning is this. It creates momentum. And momentum is like a snowball. Get it rolling early and it's hard to stop. But delay it, stall it, and you'll be pushing that snowball uphill all day long. So win something early. Make your bed, drink that glass of water, knock out a small task. Feel the win, stack the win, ride the momentum. Because once the momentum is yours, the rest of the day starts falling into place. Rituals over willpower. Now I know some mornings are tough, but don't rely on willpower alone. It fades. Build rituals instead. A ritual is just a decision you've made in advance. It removes emotion. It removes negotiation. It says, this is what I do in the morning. Period. Rituals don't care how you feel. They only care what you do. And that's the secret. Because most people wait to feel motivated. Winners, they don't wait. They get moving and motivation catches up. How you start is how you finish. If you rush the morning, you'll feel rushed all day. If you stumble out of bed, you'll stumble through decisions. If you begin the day in chaos, don't be surprised when the whole day feels chaotic. But if you start with discipline, intention, and clarity, you walk into your work, your goals, your relationships with power, not panic. The way you do the morning becomes the way you do your life. Final thought. So here's my challenge. Win the first hour. Own it. Master it. Guard it. Start the day in charge, not in crisis. And don't just wake up. Rise up, because the morning isn't just the start of your day. It's the start of your future. Discipline is the architect of routine. Let me share with you something that changed my life. Discipline. Now I know it's not the flashiest word, doesn't sound all that exciting, but let me tell you, discipline is the difference maker. It's the architect of your routine. It builds the bridge from where you are to where you want to go. If you want to design a life worth living, you've got to build it. And the builder is discipline. Motivation is good, inspiration is nice, but discipline is reliable. Discipline gets it done whether you feel like it or not. See, the pain of discipline is far lighter than the pain of regret. One weighs ounces, the other weighs tons. So I made a decision years ago to suffer a little now, so I wouldn't suffer a lot later. And that decision made all the difference. Now here's a key idea. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is permission to succeed. Discipline says, Yes, I'm willing to pay the price. You don't have to love discipline. You just have to value the result. You don't have to enjoy getting up early. You just have to enjoy who you become. Because you do. Let me give you something practical. Start with just one discipline. One, maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's reading 10 pages a day. Maybe it's skipping the junk food. Or writing down your goals. Just one. Then do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Small disciplines, repeated with consistency, lead to big wins, multiplied over time. It's the magic of compounding. Not just with money, with effort. Now here's something powerful. Every act of discipline strengthens your character. Every time you do what needs to be done, even when it's hard, you're building a reputation with yourself. And let me tell you, self-trust is a superpower. When you trust yourself to follow through, you don't need permission. You don't need approval. You've got certainty. And certainty leads to confidence. You know what discipline really is? It's self-respect. It says, I care enough about my future to act today. It says, my goals matter. My word matters. I matter. Discipline is the loudest way to say, I believe in me. And if no one else believes in you just yet, that's okay. Start by believing in yourself through your actions. Show up for you. Do the work. Keep the promise. Because when you do, something incredible happens. Discipline becomes identity. And identity changes everything. Now some people think discipline is restrictive. I say the opposite. Discipline creates freedom. You want freedom in your finances? Get discipline with your spending. You want freedom in your health? Get discipline with your choices. You want freedom in your time? Discipline your schedule. See, the people with the most discipline end up with the most freedom. Because they're not being pulled in every direction. They're driving their life on purpose. So here's my challenge to you. Become a person of discipline. Not when it's easy. Not when it's fun. But especially when it's hard. Start small. Build momentum. Stack the wins. And remember, every disciplined day is a deposit in the bank of your future. Pretty soon, your routine starts to feel natural. Your habits become automatic. And your life starts to transform. Why? Because discipline is the builder. Routine is the structure. And you are the architect. Let's make a commitment. Starting today, be stronger than your excuses. Be louder than your doubts. Be disciplined enough to do what needs to be done, even when no one's watching. Because in the end, discipline builds the life you deserve. And that's a price worth paying. Guard the gates. Inputs create outcomes. Let me give you a phrase that changed my thinking forever. Stand guard at the door of your mind. Because here's what I've learned. What gets in eventually comes out. What you allow in, what you listen to, watch, read, dwell on shapes who you become. Inputs create outcomes. You can't plant corn and expect to harvest wheat. You can't feed your mind junk every day and expect your life to be filled with clarity, purpose, and power. No, it doesn't work like that. Garbage in, garbage out. Wisdom in. Now that's a different story, because wisdom in, wealth out, discipline in, confidence out, ideas in, innovation out. But you've got to guard the gate. You see, your mind is a garden, and every day seeds are being planted. Now you can't always control who shows up with seeds, but you can control which ones you water. You can decide what you let take root. So when you scroll through endless noise, when you binge negativity and call it entertainment, when you listen to people who've never built anything tell you how to live, you're not being informed. You're being programmed. And friend, you've got to stop letting just anyone program your life. Let me ask you, who's got access to you? Whose voice is in your ear? What kind of messages are you soaking in? First thing in the morning, last thing before bed? Because those moments, they shape you. And the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's intentional and what's accidental. It just records. It's like a factory. Whatever you give it, it processes. And pretty soon you're not just thinking the thoughts, you're living the results. So what's the answer? Be intentional with your inputs. Treat your attention like it's precious, because it is. Treat your focus like gold, because that's what it's worth. Fill your mind with learning, with growth, with truth. Fill it with voices that lift you, challenge you, sharpen you. Read the good books. Listen to the wise ones. Limit the noise. Control the screen time. Turn down the volume on negativity, and turn way up the volume on your goals. Because what you feed grows, and what you starve dies. Here's what I did when I was just starting out. I made a list. Who's worth listening to? What's worth watching? What's worth reading? And I put a filter on my mind. I said, only the good stuff gets in. If it builds me, it's in. If it drains me, it's out. That's how you create mental wealth. And let me tell you, when your mind gets rich, your life starts catching up real fast. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying never have fun. I'm not saying every second has to be deep philosophy. But I am saying be aware, be selective, be the guard. Because someone's always knocking. The question is, who are you opening the door for? Here's the final thought. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And your mind, that's your master system. So protect it. Filter the input. Choose the voices. Curate the content. Control the environment. Because you're not just feeding your mind, you're shaping your future. So guard the gates, my friend. Because what gets in will show up later. In your mood, in your habits, in your relationships, in your bank account. Inputs create outcomes, and you are the gatekeeper. Productive work beats busy work. Now let me tell you something that hits hard once you really see it. Not all activity leads to achievement. That's right. Movement does not always mean progress. And being busy does not mean being effective. You can be busy all day long and still be broke. You can be busy all year and still go nowhere. Why? Because there's a difference between busy work and productive work. Busy work keeps you in motion. Productive work moves you forward. Busy work fills the day. Productive work fills your life with results. You ever meet someone who's always in a rush, always overwhelmed, always exhausted, running from one thing to the next, putting out fires, answering calls, checking emails, always doing something. But when you ask, what did you actually accomplish today? They pause. They think. They don't have an answer. That's the trap of being busy, not effective. And friend, it's easy to fall into that trap. Because let's face it, being busy feels productive. It gives the illusion of progress. But real success doesn't come from the illusion. It comes from the impact. Now here's a phrase I want you to remember. Never confuse activity with achievement. A farmer doesn't just walk around the field all day with a shovel. He plants, he waters, he harvests. You've got to know which actions produce fruit and which ones just burn energy. That's what productive people do. They know the difference. Let me give you the secret to productivity. It's not doing more things. It's doing the right things. Consistently. That's the 80-20th rule. 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. So what's your 20%? What are the few activities that actually move the needle? Find them, protect them, prioritize them. Because when you focus on high-value tasks, your days start to produce real results. You see, productive people build their schedule around priorities. Busy people fill their schedule with pressure. Productive people say, what's the one thing that will matter most today? Busy people say, how can I get through this to-do list? Let me tell you, long to-do lists can be deceiving. They give you the illusion of accomplishment. But if none of it moves you closer to your goals, it's just motion without meaning. So learn to cut, learn to simplify. Do less, but better. Now I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm saying work smart, and then work hard on the smart things. Don't just get busy, get clear. Don't just check the box. Create the breakthrough. Don't just spend your time, invest it. Because every minute you spend on low-value work is a minute stolen from your future. Let me give you some action steps. Identify your high-value activities. What few things produce the biggest return for your time? Eliminate or delegate the rest. Don't just manage distractions. Remove them. Time block your priorities. Put them in your calendar like appointments with yourself. Review weekly. Ask, what did I actually accomplish this week? When you start doing this, your life begins to change. Not just more activity, but more impact. Not just more effort, but more elevation. So here's the question. Are you busy or are you productive? It's not how many things you do. It's how many things you finish and how many of those matter. Because in the end, nobody gets rewarded for how much they ran around. You get rewarded for results. So remember, don't just fill your day, build your destiny. Productive work beats busy work every time. Plan the day or react to it. Let me give you a philosophy. Simple but life-changing. Either you run the day or the day runs you. It's your choice. Every single morning, you wake up with the same opportunity to lead the day or chase it, to direct your hours or to drown in distractions. And let me tell you, those who win in life, they don't leave the day up to chance. They plan it. They prepare for it. They design it. Now I meet people all the time who say, Jim, I don't really like planning. I just go with the flow. Let me tell you something, friend. The flow is dangerous because if you don't have a plan for your life, I guarantee someone else does. If you don't set your priorities, you'll end up working on theirs. And if you don't fill your calendar with purpose, it'll fill up with noise. See, without a plan, the day will eat you alive. One phone call turns into 2. One scroll turns into 20. One distraction becomes your whole morning. And by the time you look up, it's gone. The day escaped you. Don't let that happen. You can't afford to treat your time casually, because the way you spend your day is how you're spending your life. Let me give you something practical. Never start your day until it's finished on paper. Before the sun comes up, before the calls start, before the world demands your attention. Finish your day in advance. Ask yourself, what do I need to get done today? What's essential, not just urgent? What will move me closer to the life I want? Write it down. Block the time. Create the strategy. That's not just planning, that's leadership. You see, planning isn't about rigidity. It's about clarity. It's about waking up with a mission, not just waking up with a phone in your hand and hoping it all works out. Hope is not a strategy, a plan. That's a strategy, a clear direction. That's a compass. And when you've got that, you don't get pushed around by the wind. Let me tell you what planning really does. Planning protects your priorities, because without a plan, everything feels important. And when everything feels important, nothing gets done. But with a plan, you walk into the day with purpose. You say no more often. You stop reacting. And you start responding with wisdom. And let me remind you, you don't find time. You make it. You carve it out. You assign it. You own it. Now I'll be honest with you. Planning takes effort. It takes a little thinking, a little discipline. But let me ask you, which is harder? Planning your day for 15 minutes in the morning, or wasting the whole thing because you didn't? The small effort of planning saves you from the big cost of confusion. And that's a trade you want to make every single day. Here's my challenge for you. Tonight, before you go to bed, take 10 minutes. Don't just make a list. Design your day. Decide what's going to matter. Decide what's worth your time. Decide who you need to be before the sun comes up. Because if you don't decide, the day will decide for you. And chances are, it won't choose well. Let me leave you with this. The unplanned life is a reactive life. And a reactive life is always behind, always overwhelmed. But the planned life, that's where you take control. That's where you start creating results on purpose. So don't let the day manage you. You manage the day. Because once you start running your days, you start running your life. The power of small wins. Let me share a principle with you that can change everything. You don't need a big victory to change your life. You just need a small one, repeated. That's the power of small wins. It's not about the grand slam. It's not about the $1 million deal or the huge transformation overnight. Success is not built in leaps. It's built in layers. Small wins, little victories, quiet progress. That's how you go from average to excellent, from stuck to unstoppable. Now, people often ask, Jim, how do I get motivated? Let me tell you, you don't wait for motivation. You create it. And how do you create motivation? Win something. Even if it's small, even if it's ordinary. Make your bed, read 5 pages, go for the walk, say no to the donut, send the email, clean the desk, speak kindly when you don't feel like it. That's a win. And wins build confidence. And confidence builds momentum. And momentum, that's when life gets exciting. See, one of the greatest feelings in the world is progress, not perfection, not applause, just knowing you're moving forward, you're getting better, you're showing up. And that feeling, that comes from small wins. They might not make headlines, but they make habits. And habits create futures. Let me give you a secret. Stack your wins early. Win the first hour. Win the morning. It doesn't have to be big, just consistent. When you win early, your brain gets the message. I'm a person who follows through. You carry that identity into every choice, every meeting, every moment. Small wins change how you see yourself. And once you change that, everything else changes too. Now let me warn you, the world doesn't celebrate small wins. The world celebrates results. But what the world doesn't see is what really matters. They see the transformation. They don't see the tiny steps that built it. But you know that the person who shows up at 6 a.m., the person who tracks their spending, the person who says no to excuses and yes to discipline, that's the one who's winning, even before the results show. So don't wait to be celebrated. Celebrate yourself every time you choose growth over comfort. Let me give you some ideas to put into action. Start each day with one small winnable goal. Make it specific. Make it doable. Then do it. Keep a win log. Write down your wins at the end of each day, no matter how small. Say this out loud. Today I did what I said I'd do. That sentence builds trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, there's nothing you can't do. You know what else small wins do? They make the big wins possible. The business grows because the emails got sent. The body transforms because the workouts got done. The mind sharpens because the books got read. The life you want is hiding inside the small decisions you're tempted to skip. So don't skip them. Let me wrap this up with a challenge. Starting today, commit to the win. Not the perfect day, not the perfect outcome, just the next win. Stack them, celebrate them, build on them. Because small wins lead to big change. They reshape your confidence, they rewire your identity, and they redefine what's possible. So go win something today, and tomorrow, and the day after that. Because the life you want isn't waiting at the finish line. It's being built, one small win at a time. Evening is for evaluation and preparation. Let me tell you something. Most people miss how you end the day matters just as much as how you begin it. The morning sets the tone. But the evening, that's where you take control of the story. The evening is your time to reflect, review, renew. It's your chance to step out of motion and step into meaning. And if you don't take that time, you risk living the same day again and again without ever learning, without ever improving. You want to grow? Then stop rushing to the pillow and start meeting yourself at the end of the day. Here's a phrase I want you to hold on to. Don't just finish the day, harvest it. You've put in the hours, you've done the work, you've moved through the conversations, the tasks, the choices. Now ask yourself, what did I learn? Where did I grow? Where did I fall short? And what can I do better tomorrow? That's how you convert experience into wisdom. Success doesn't just come from what you go through. It comes from what you learn from what you go through. But that only happens when you pause and look back with intention. Now listen, this doesn't have to take hours. I'm talking about 10 minutes, 10 quiet minutes at the end of the day to ask questions like, did I follow through on what I said I'd do? Did I waste time? Or did I use it well? Did I speak with kindness? Did I act with discipline? Did I move one step closer to the person I want to be? That's what the evening is for. Not for guilt, not for judgment, but for clarity. You can't change what you don't confront, and you can't confront what you don't stop and notice. Let me give you another key idea. The evening is also for preparation. You know what kills momentum, starting every day from scratch, but you know what creates powerful momentum, laying out the next day before it begins. Set the closeout. Review the calendar. Write the list. Define the goals. Decide tonight who you're going to be tomorrow. Why? Because clarity tonight creates confidence in the morning. You sleep better. You wake better. You move faster. You don't start the day wondering. You start the day winning. Here's what I like to say. The day belongs to the one who prepares for it. And when you prepare in the evening, you give yourself a head start on everybody else who's stumbling out of bed trying to figure things out. You don't need more time. You just need to be ready for the time you have. That's the power of the evening. Let me get real with you for a second. Most people waste their evenings. They numb out with noise. They fill their heads with distraction. They go to sleep drained, not directed. And then they wonder why they wake up with no drive, no energy, no clarity. The evening is your launch pad. What you do between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. determines how strong you'll show up at 6 a.m. So guard those hours. Make them sacred. Use them to review, renew, and get ready. Here's your action plan. Take 10 minutes before bed. Review your day. Ask questions. Write what you learned. Write down 3 wins. No matter how small, acknowledge your effort. List your 3 priorities for tomorrow. Not 20 things, just 3 that matter most. Visualize your next day's success. See yourself focused, calm, and control. Winning? Do this for a week, and watch your life begin to transform. So here's the big idea. Don't just live your day. Harvest it. Don't just sleep through your evening. Use it, because your future doesn't just begin in the morning. It's being built the night before. And the person who ends the day with purpose will wake up with power. So take the time to evaluate. Take the time to prepare. Because how you end the day determines how you begin the next one. Habits build identity, and identity drives results. Let me give you a life-changing truth. Success isn't just about what you do. It's about who you're becoming while you do it. That's right. Habits build identity, and identity drives results. What you do every day is shaping who you are, and who you believe you are will determine what you do next. So if you want to change your life, you've got to change your habits. Because those habits, little daily disciplines, They're not just what you do, they're what you become. Now here's the catch. You can't outperform your self-image. You might dream of being successful. You might talk like a champion. But if your habits say otherwise, your results will follow them. You can say, I want to be healthy, but if your daily habit is fast food and soda, that's not who you are. It's just who you wish you were. So the goal is not just to set a goal, it's to become the kind of person who achieves that goal. And that, my friends, starts with daily choices. You want to know who you really are? Look at your habits, not your intentions, not your words, not even your vision board, your habits. Because what you do repeatedly reveals who you believe you are. If you write every day, you become a writer. If you exercise every day, you become an athlete. If you read every day, you become a learner. If you invest every day, you become wealthy in wisdom, and eventually in wealth. And here's the magic. The more you do it, the more natural it feels. And before long, your identity shifts. You don't have to fake it. You just become it. Now let me give you something to hold on to. Discipline is how you cast votes for the identity you want. Every time you follow through on a good habit, you're casting a vote for a better you. You say, this is who I am now. And that vote counts. It might be small, it might be silent, but it adds up. And eventually your mind starts to agree. Your beliefs shift, your confidence grows, your actions multiply. Identity takes root, and once it's in you, you don't have to force it anymore. You live it. So if you want better results, don't chase outcomes. Shape your identity. Ask yourself, who do I want to become? What does that kind of person do every day? And am I doing it right now? Don't just say, I want to be a leader. Say, what does a leader do? Every morning, then do that. Because being precedes doing, and doing reinforces being. Now let me warn you, the old habits, they'll fight to stay. They'll whisper, you've always been like this. Just this once. No one will know, but you will know. So when the moment comes, and it will, choose the identity you're building, not the one you're breaking free from. Every habit is a vote, so vote wisely. Let me wrap up with this. You don't become great all at once. You become great gradually, habit by habit, day by day. And you don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to act like the person you want to be, until that person becomes your reality. Because in the end, habits build identity, and identity builds everything else. Stack days, stack decades. Let me tell you something simple, but powerful. A successful life is just a string of successful days stacked together. That's it. No secret door, no magic switch, just ordinary days, done extraordinarily well. You don't need a miracle, you need a method. Stack the days, and you'll stack the decades. Because how you live your days is how you live your life. Now most people don't see it that way. They say things like, oh, it's just one day, I'll start next week. This one won't matter. But it does matter. Because every day counts. Every day is a vote for your future, or against it. You can't live a disciplined life without living a disciplined day. And you can't live a purposeful decade if you're wasting every afternoon. Success doesn't show up one day. It accumulates, just like failure. It sneaks in quietly, one excuse at a time, one skipped workout, one wasted hour, one broken promise to yourself. It doesn't feel like much in the moment, but over time, it builds a story. And the question is, what kind of story are you stacking? Let me give you a picture. Every day is like a brick. Now you can toss that brick aside, or you can place it carefully, intentionally, right into the foundation of your future. One brick doesn't look like much, but keep stacking, and before long you've built a structure called success. Or ignore the bricks, and end up with a pile of regret. So what'll it be? Build or neglect? Because you don't get to choose if you're stacking days. You only get to choose what kind of days you're stacking. Now here's the beauty of it. You don't need to win the year. You just need to win today. Do that enough times, and you'll look up one day with 10 years of proof that you've become a disciplined, focused, consistent human being. And the compound effect of that, it's unbelievable. But it all starts now. See, the future isn't built in the future. It's built in daily repetition. It's hidden inside the next hour, the next decision, the next routine. So stop waiting to have it all figured out. You don't need 10 years of clarity. You just need to do the right thing today. Get up early. Move your body. Feed your mind. Finish the task. Speak the truth. Honor the plan. Then do it again tomorrow. And again. And again. That's how legacies are made. Let me ask you something. What if you lived today like it was a page in your biography? Would you be proud of how it reads? Because whether you like it or not, the pen is in your hand, and you're writing with every decision. Stack enough intentional days, and you'll look back with no regret, only momentum. Here's your assignment. Don't chase 10-year goals. Chase 10 solid Tuesdays in a row. Show up. Stay consistent. Do what matters most today, and let the days build the decades. Because once you realize the power of one good day, you'll stop looking for hacks, and you'll start building habits. Let me leave you with this. Stack days. Stack decades. Stack a legacy. Your calendar is your construction site. Every check mark is a brick. Every routine is a beam. And your future, it's the building you're working on. So lay it down today, then lay it down again tomorrow. One block at a time. Because if you stack the right days, your life will rise like a masterpiece. Design your days. Design your destiny. Well, here we are. And if there's one thing I hope you walk away with, it's this. You are not the product of your circumstances. You are the product of your daily choices. You don't need a new year. You don't need better luck. You don't need someone to hand you a golden opportunity. What you need is a decision to design your day with purpose, to live your hours with intention, to stop letting life happen to you and start making life answer to you. Because here's the truth. If you design your day, you are designing your destiny. You see, success doesn't show up in one big moment. It shows up in a series of small, often unseen moments. Waking up early when you don't feel like it. Choosing the book over the television, saying yes to discipline and no to distraction. Finishing what you start, honoring your time, protecting your mind, stacking those wins, one quiet day at a time. And every one of those small moments, that's destiny being built. Brick by brick, hour by hour, decision by decision. So don't just drift through your life, hoping things will change. Drive it, direct it, design it. Because drifting is easy, but it always leads you off course. And make no mistake, if you don't build your day on purpose, the world will hand you its plan. And trust me, it won't have your best interests in mind. So get serious, get clear, and start now. Let me ask you, what would happen if you designed your next 7 days with full intention? I mean, really sat down, planned, prioritized, protected your time, filled it with discipline, with learning, with growth, with action. Just 7 days. Do you think your results would look different? Do you think your confidence would feel different? Do you think your identity would start to shift? You better believe it would. Because when you control the day, you start believing you can control your life. And that's when everything starts to change. So here's the final charge. Don't just wish for a better future. Schedule it. Don't just hope to succeed. Design your days to make success inevitable. Write the plan. Honor the schedule. Stack the wins. Do the work. And when it gets hard, and it will, come back to this. My days are my destiny. And if I master the day, I master my life. That's the mindset of a builder. That's the heartbeat of a champion. That's how you go from survival to success to significance. Because in the end, your future is not found in fate. It's found in the calendar. It's hiding in your routine. It's waiting in your decisions. So take the pen. Write the story. Design the day. Because when you design your days with discipline, you design a destiny worth living. And my friend, you are worthy of it. Let's get to work.